The salt air of the Andalusian coast whipped through the open windows of the old stone villa, carrying the faint chime of church bells from the village below. Maya gripped the wrought iron balcony railing until her knuckles whitened, her heart pounding like the waves crashing against the cliffs far beneath them. "You can't bring her." Her aunt's voice had sliced through the phone line that morning, sharp as the Iberian summer sun. "This is family, Maya. Blood. Not whatever this is." She'd hung up without a word, the receiver trembling in her hand, but the damage was done. Now, as the sun dipped toward the horizon, painting the terracotta roofs in hues of blood orange, Maya stared at Elodie across the room. Her Elodie with that quiet grace that had unraveled her defenses 2 years ago in a rainy Brooklyn coffee shop. Elodie was folding linens with the precision of someone who'd grown up in a world that demanded perfection, her blonde braids slipping over one shoulder. She hadn't said much since the call, just a soft "we'll figure it out" that Maya clung to like a lifeline. But figuring it out felt impossible. Abuela Rosa's funeral was tomorrow, the matriarch of the Vasquez family finally succumbing to the cancer that had gnawed at her for years. The family was flying in from all corners, New York, Miami, even the old homestead in rural Pennsylvania where Maya's parents still clung to their Catholic roots like barnacles on a ship. Rosa had built this villa in the hills outside Malaga with her late husband, a stubborn Basque immigrant who'd chased dreams across the Atlantic. It was her sanctuary, her legacy, and now it was the stage for a ceremony that would bind them all in grief and secrets. Maya crossed the room in 3 strides, pulling Elodie into her arms. The scent of lavender from Elodie's skin, remnant of the soap she'd bought in that little Provençal market last summer, filled her lungs. "I'm sorry," Maya whispered, her voice cracking. They're stuck in the past. But you're my present. My everything." Elodie tilted her head up, her blue eyes steady as the Mediterranean. "And I'm not hiding. Not for them. Not for anyone." She cupped Maya's face, thumb brushing away a stray tear. "We'll go together. Or not at all." The words hung between them, heavy with the weight of choice. Maya thought of her childhood summers here, racing through olive groves with cousins, Abuela Rosa's laughter echoing like wind chimes as she baked almond cakes in the outdoor oven. Those were the days before Maya understood why her heart raced differently, why the girls in her school plays made her stomach flip in ways the boys never did. Rosa had known, though Maya was sure of it. The old woman had always had a way of seeing through facades, her dark eyes twinkling with unspoken wisdom. "Be true, mi Nina," she'd say, pressing a fig into Maya's palm. "The world is big enough for your heart." If only it were that simple. The family had converged like storm clouds. Uncle Javier from Miami with his booming voice and Wall Street suits. Aunt Lucia perpetually aggrieved, her rosary beads clicking like judgment. Maya's parents, Elena and Tomas, who still whispered prayers for their wayward daughter at midnight masses. They'd all arrived that afternoon, filling the villa with the murmur of Spanish laced with English, the clink of glasses toasting the dead. And then the edict, spoken in the kitchen over espresso, as if it were casual. "Leave her at the hotel, Maya," her mother had said, eyes averted. "This is about Rosa. About us. Don't make a scene." A scene. As if loving Elodie were a tantrum to be hushed. Maya had wanted to scream, to shatter the tiled floor beneath her feet. Instead she'd nodded, numb, and slipped out to the balcony. Now, with night falling like a velvet curtain, the villa glowed with lantern light. Laughter drifted from the courtyard. Forced, brittle, mingling with the strum of a guitar from some distant fiesta. Elodie pulled back, her hands lingering on Maya's waist. "Tell me about her. Rosa. What was she like really?" Maya smiled faintly, the ache in her chest easing just a fraction. "Fierce. Like a lioness in lace. She left Spain during Franco's time, you know? Came to America with nothing but a sewing kit and a fire in her belly. Built this place stone by stone after Grandpa died. She never remarried, never bent to anyone. Said love was her rebellion." Elodie's lips curved. "Sounds like someone I know." She leaned in, their foreheads touching. "We'll honor her by being us. No masks." But masks were all Maya had worn for years. Growing up in Philadelphia's row houses, she buried her feelings under layers of tomboy bravado. Soccer cleats, crew cuts, dates with nice boys to keep the questions at bay. College in New York cracked her open. A women's studies class, a poetry slam where Elodie's voice, clear haunting, recited verses about hidden rivers. They'd met after, under the awning of that coffee shop, rain soaking their coats. "You make me feel like I'm allowed to breathe," Maya had confessed weeks later, on a bench in Washington Square Park. 2 years of stolen weekends in the Catskills, quiet dinners in Elodie's tiny Astoria apartment, building a life thread by thread. Elodie, a graphic designer with French roots tracing back to immigrant grandparents, understood the pull of family expectations. Her own parents in Connecticut had thawed slowly, dinners with awkward questions turning to tentative hugs. "Love isn't a battlefield," Elodie would say, quoting Audre Lorde. "It's a garden. We just have to tend it." Yet here, in this villa that smelled of rosemary and regret, the garden felt choked with weeds. As they descended the spiral staircase to join the family for dinner, Maya's resolve wavered. The long oak table was laden with paella steaming in saffron glory, bottles of Rioja breathing in the candlelight. Relatives rose to embrace her. Air kisses from cousins, backslaps from uncles, each touch a reminder of the invisible line she was about to cross. She introduced Elodie as "my partner, here to support me." The word hung awkward, met with polite nods and quick glances away. Aunt Lucia's beads clicked faster. Uncle Javier poured extra wine, his laugh too loud. Maya's parents sat at the head, Elena's face a mask of strained serenity, Tomas carving the fish with mechanical precision. "To Rosa," Tomas toasted, glass raised. "May she watch over us from heaven." Glasses clinked, but Maya's hand shook as she sipped. Elodie squeezed her knee under the table, a silent anchor. Conversation flowed in bilingual eddies, stories of Rosa's youth in Bilbao, her Atlantic crossing on a creaky steamer, the corner bodega she'd opened in Spanish Harlem. Maya contributed little, her mind replaying the morning's call. Hide her. As if Elodie were a flaw, a scandal. Halfway through the meal, as plates cleared for flan, the air shifted. A notary from the village had arrived unannounced, briefcase in hand, summoned by Rosa's final wishes. "Señora Vasquez insisted," he said in accented English, adjusting his spectacles. "The reading tonight. Before the burial." Murmurs rippled. This wasn't tradition. Wills were for lawyers' offices, not funeral eves. But Rosa had always danced to her own rhythm. The family migrated to the salon, a room heavy with velvet drapes and ancestral portraits glaring from oiled frames. Chairs scraped as they settled in a semicircle, the notary at center stage with a sealed envelope. Maya sat beside Elodie on a settee, their thighs brushing, a small defiance. Her mother's eyes flicked toward them, lips thinning, but she said nothing. The notary cleared his throat, unfolding the document with reverent care. "In the name of Rosa Vasquez, born in Euskal died in peace at 87. The words washed over them. Bequests to charities, sums to cousins, the bodega in Harlem to a nephew's trust. Then pause. The notary's voice deepened. "To my granddaughter Maya Elena Vasquez." All eyes turned. Maya's pulse thundered. Rosa had adored her. The late-night letters from college, the visits where they'd wander the villa's gardens, debating Frida Kahlo's self-portraits over herbal tea. "You're the artist in the family," Rosa had said once, tracing Maya's palm. "Paint your truth boldly." "The villa," the notary continued, "and all attendant properties to Maya unconditionally, with the provision that she live within these walls for 1 year, tending the groves as I did, and sharing it as a home for those who seek refuge, like the women I sheltered in my time." Gasps echoed. Refuge? What women? The family stirred, whispers rising like steam. Maya froze, the words sinking in. The villa. Rosa's crown jewel worth millions, hers? But the provision. A year here in Spain. With Elodie? The thought bloomed warm, then curdled with dread. Her job in New York? Her life? Before she could speak, the notary added, almost shyly, "And a letter for Maya alone." He handed her a cream envelope, sealed with Rosa's looping script. The room watched as she broke the wax, unfolding the pages with trembling fingers. Elodie's hand found hers again, steady. "Mi querida Maya. If you're reading this, I've gone to join your abuelo in the stars. Don't grieve too long. The dead envy the living's fire. This house is yours because you remind me of myself. A girl who loved fiercely against the grain. I knew, you see, about the one who makes your eyes light. Bring her here. Let these stones witness your joy. The family will rage, they always do. But truth is the only inheritance worth claiming. There are secrets in the attic, letters from my youth. A love I buried like so many. Don't bury yours. Live Maya. For both of us.
Con amor eterno, Abuela Rosa.
Tears blurred the ink. Maya looked up, the room spinning. Elodie's squeeze tightened, her own eyes glistening. But across the circle, Aunt Lucia's face twisted. Not with joy but fury. This is madness, she hissed. Rosa was senile. A home for strays. Uncle Javier leaned forward, voice low. Maya, think. The conditions. A year. Abandoning your life. Her mother's voice cut sharpest. We told you to come alone. This is why. Always complicating things. The betrayal stung, fresh as salt in a wound. Not just the hiding, they'd known, somehow Rosa had known and loved her anyway. And now this gift wrapped in challenge. Maya stood, envelope clutched to her chest, Elodie's hand warm in hers. No, she said, voice steady for the first time that night. This is exactly why she chose me. The notary cleared his throat awkwardly. The will is ironclad. Signed witnesses. Chaos erupted. Overlapping voices, Lucia's beads flying as she gestured wildly. Tomas pounded the arm of his chair, face red. But Maya held Elodie's gaze, seeing the future flicker there. Olive harvests at dawn, nights under star-pricked skies, a life unapologetic. As the family fractured around them, Maya whispered. She knew. All along. Elodie smiled, fierce and tender. Then let's honor her. Together. But outside, thunder rumbled over the sea. A storm brewing, mirroring the one within. The night was young and secrets, it seemed, were just beginning to surface. Dawn broke over the villa like a hesitant promise, pink light seeping through the shutters as if afraid to intrude on the night's wreckage. Maya hadn't slept. Neither had Elodie. They'd retreated to the guest wing after the reading, the notary's departure leaving a vacuum filled with slammed doors and hissed accusations. Curled on the four-poster bed, linen sheets tangled around their legs, they'd talked until the roosters crowed. About Rosa's letter, the attic's mysteries, the impossible pull of the will's terms. Now, as the house stirred with the shuffle of mourners preparing for the burial, Maya slipped from the bed, padding barefoot to the window. The courtyard below bustled. Caterers arranging white lilies on wrought iron stands, cousins in black dresses adjusting veils. Malaga's hills rolled green and gold to the horizon, dotted with cork oaks and the occasional flash of a flamenco skirt from a passing tour bus. Spain felt alive, pulsing in stark contrast to the villa's stifling air. Elodie joined her, arms wrapping around Maya's waist from behind. You okay? Her breath was warm against Maya's neck. No. Yes. God, I don't know. Maya leaned back, savoring the solidity of Elodie's body. It's like Rosa reached from the grave and said, Your move, kid. A year here? It's everything and nothing. The villa's a dream, but leaving New York. My clients, our apartment. Our life, Elodie finished softly. She turned Maya to face her, hands framing her cheeks. But isn't this a chance? To build something real away from the noise. Rosa saw it in you. The strength to choose love over comfort. Maya's laugh was bitter. Strength? Last night I almost caved. Promised Mom I'd send you back to the city. Elodie's eyes darkened, but not with anger, with hurt, raw and unguarded. And I couldn't. You're not a phase, Elle. You're my North Star. She kissed her then, slow and deep, the kind of kiss that erased borders. When they parted, Maya's resolve hardened. We'll go to the attic today. After the service. See what she meant. The burial was a blur of ritual and restraint. The family processed down the winding path to the village cemetery, black-clad figures winding like smoke through cypress alleys. Rosa's casket, simple pine draped in white orchids, rested on a bier pulled by donkey cart. A nod to old Basque ways. Father Miguel intoned the rosary in lilting Spanish, the sea's roar underscoring his words like a cosmic amen. Maya stood apart with Elodie, their linked hands a quiet rebellion. Whispers snaked through the mourners. That woman, who is she? Maya's friend from America. Lucia's glare burned from the front row. Her arm looped possessively through Elena's. During the committal, as dirt pattered on the lid like hesitant rain, Maya's mother broke ranks, sidling close. Elena, please, she murmured, voice thick. This isn't the time. Rosa wouldn't want division. Maya's throat tightened. Division? Mom, she left it to me. Because she understood. Elena's eyes, so like her own hazel shadowed, flickered with something unspoken. Understood what? That you're throwing away your future for this. She glanced at Elodie, who stood stoic, gazing at the grave. It's not throwing away. It's claiming. Maya's voice rose, drawing stares. Father Miguel paused mid-prayer. She lowered it, fierce. Abuela knew about us. She approved. Elena's face crumpled. She was old. Confused. We all loved her, but this will, it's a mistake. We'll contest it. For the family's sake. The words landed like a slap. Contest it. Betrayal coiled in Maya's gut. Hot and nauseating. All those childhood promises, family first always now weaponized. As the priest resumed, Maya pulled Elodie away, weaving through the headstones to a bench overlooking the cliffs. Gulls wheeled above, cries sharp as grief. They're going to fight it, Maya said, voice hollow. Turn this into a war. Elodie sat beside her, tracing patterns in the stone. Then we fight smarter. Rosa left clues. Let's find them. Back at the villa, the wake unfolded in somber splendor. Platters of jamon and manchego, decanters of sherry flowing like tears. Relatives clustered in knots, toasting Rosa's memory while casting sidelong glances at Maya and Elodie. Uncle Javier cornered her by the fireplace, cigar smoke wreathing his head like a halo of hypocrisy. Listen, kiddo, he said, clapping her shoulder too hard. The old lady had her whims, but this? A year in Spain? You're a New Yorker, concrete in chaos. Sell the place, split the proceeds. Keep it clean. Maya's jaw clenched. Clean? Like hiding who I am. He chuckled, paternal. Business, Maya. Family's about legacy, not experiments. The word ignited her. Experiment? Elodie's my life. And Rosa knew that. She chose me because I have the guts to live it. Javier's smile faded. Guts or folly? Think of your parents. Tomas is heartbroken. She walked away, pulse racing, finding Elodie in the kitchen with the cousins, younger ones less armored by tradition. Sofia, a 20-something artist from Barcelona, was sketching on a napkin, her dark curls mirroring Maya's. Abuela was a revolutionary, Sofia said, eyes bright. Did you know she hid Republican sympathizers here during the Civil War? Women mostly. Smuggled them food, forged papers. Elodie's brow arched. Refuge. Like the will said. Sofia nodded. She never talked about it much. But the attic, it's full of boxes. Old letters, photos. Maybe answers. As the afternoon waned, the crowd thinned, relatives departing for hotels in the city. Maya and Elodie waited until sunset, when the villa fell silent save for the creak of settling beams. They climbed the narrow attic stairs, dust motes dancing in flashlight beams like fireflies. The space was a time capsule. Trunks of lace dresses, yellowed playbills from Harlem theaters, a phonograph with warped records of Celia Cruz. In the corner, a cedar chest bore Rosa's initials, carved with a heart. Maya knelt, key from the letter tucked in the lock. It turned with a sigh, revealing bundles of correspondence tied in faded ribbons. Letters in French, Spanish, English. Envelopes addressed to Mi Amor Secreta. Postmarked from Paris, 1952. Elodie lifted one gingerly. Look, Maya, it's to a woman. Claire Dupont. The name stirred something. Maya scanned the script, Rosa's hand young and fervent. My darling, the ocean between us is cruel, but your letters are my shore. When I return, we'll dance under the stars, no more hiding. You're Rosa. More followed. Clandestine meetings in Greenwich Village jazz clubs, stolen weekends in the Pyrenees. Claire, an American painter, fiery redhead with a laugh like thunder. Their love, born in post-war New York, severed by family pressures. Claire's illness, Rosa's duty to her ailing mother. I chose safety over you, one letter confessed. And it hollowed me. Tears streamed down Maya's face as she read aloud, Elodie's arm around her shoulders. She lived half a life. For them. Elodie kissed her temple. Not anymore. Through you. But footsteps echoed on the stairs, heavy, purposeful. The attic door swung open, lantern light spilling in. Aunt Lucia stood there, face gaunt, a folder clutched in her hand. Behind her Elena, eyes wide. You shouldn't be up here, Lucia snapped, but her voice wavered. Maya rose, letters spilling like confessions. Why? Afraid of the truth. Lucia's gaze darted to the chest. Rosa was protecting you. From scandal. From ruin. Elena stepped forward, hand extended. Maya mija. Let's talk. Downstairs. But Lucia thrust the folder forward. No. This ends now. She flipped it open, revealing photocopies, legal briefs, witness statements. We're filing the contest tomorrow. Senility, undue influence. The villa stays in the family. Proper family. Betrayal crashed over Maya like a tidal wave. Her own mother complicit? You knew about Claire? Elena's silence was damning. Lucia sneered. A youthful mistake. Buried. Like yours should be. Elodie stood, voice steel. It's not a mistake. It's love. And Rosa wanted this, for Maya to break the cycle. The women faced off in the dim light, shadows lengthening. Lucia's beads clicked like a countdown. Love? It destroys. Look at Rosa, alone till the end. Maya's heart fractured. She wasn't alone. She had us. And now she's giving me what she never had. Elena reached for her, tears falling. Please. Don't choose this over us. The choice loomed vast as the sea. Maya clutched the letters, Elodie's hand in hers. I choose both. But on my terms. As Lucia stormed out, folder in tow, the attic felt charged, electric. Secrets unearthed, alliances shattered. Below, the villa slumbered. But the storm of tomorrow gathered force. The Malaga courthouse loomed like a colonial ghost, its whitewashed walls baking under the relentless November sun. It was 2 days after the burial, and the air hummed with the off-season quiet of the coast, tourists thinned, locals hurrying to siestas. Maya adjusted her linen blazer, the fabric sticking to her skin, as she and Elodie ascended the steps. The contest hearing was informal, a preliminary skirmish before lawyers descended, but it felt like trial by fire. Inside, the chamber was a relic. Wooden benches scarred by centuries, a judge's dais flanked by faded tapestries of Moorish kings. The Vasquez clan filled the front rows, Javier tapping his foot, Lucia ramrod straight, Elena twisting a handkerchief into knots. Tomas was absent, under the weather, per a terse text. Maya wondered if it was shame or strategy. Elodie squeezed her hand as they sat, her presence a bulwark. We've got this, she murmured. Rosa's truth is our armor. The notary from the villa doubled as clerk, shuffling papers with nervous efficiency. The judge, a wiry woman in her 60s named Senora Alvarez, peered over half-moons. Senora Vasquez's will is before us. Petitioners claim incapacity. Respondents. Lucia's lawyer, a slick Madrid import named Ruiz, rose first. He gestured to medical records, Rosa's final scans, notes on cognitive decline. My client, Lucia Vasquez, seeks to protect family assets from an invalid document. The deceased suffered dementia, evident in fantastical bequests. Maya's stomach churned. Fantastical? Rosa had been sharp as a stiletto till the end, beating Javier at chess weeks before, dictating recipes from memory. But Ruiz spun it deftly. Isolation, painkillers, delusions of refuge. Then the letters. Ruiz produced redacted copies, waving them like flags of surrender. Romantic fictions, perhaps. But evidence of instability. Whispers rippled. Elodie stiffened beside Maya, her fingers tightening. This was betrayal refined, twisting Rosa's love into madness. Maya's turn came too soon. Her attorney, a local firebrand named Carmen hired via Sophia's connections, stood. With respect, these delusions were the testator's lived truth. She slid the full letters across the bench, unredacted. Correspondence from 1952 to 1955, corroborated by stamps and enclosures. Rosa Vasquez was lucid, deliberate. The bequest honors her values, authenticity, sanctuary. Alvarez scanned the pages, brow furrowing. And the provision? 1-year residency. Carmen nodded. A challenge, yes. But binding. Maya accepts. Ruiz interjected, oily. For now. Under duress from her companion. He nodded toward Elodie, the word laced with insinuation. The chamber tensed. Lucia leaned to Elena, whispering. Maya's mother avoided her gaze, but guilt etched her features. Carmen fired back. Duress? Or support? The will specifies no such qualifiers. And Ms. DuPont's family? She produced affidavits, emailed overnight from Claire's niece in Boston. Claire had passed in '89, but her kin remembered Rose's visits, the dear friend who'd funded art scholarships in her name. This wasn't fiction, Carmen said. It was Rosa's heart. Alvarez tapped her pen, eyes shrewd. Emotional testimony aside, the medicals trouble me. Adjournment for experts. Ruiz pounced. Immediate injunction. Preserve status quo villa to trustees. The gavel fell like thunder. Adjournment granted, injunction pending. As the family filed out, Lucia paused by Maya, voice venomous. You drag her name through this. For what? A fling. It's not, Maya started, but Elodie cut in, calm as glass. Love like roses. The kind that endures. Lucia scoffed, sweeping past. Elena lingered, reaching for Maya's arm. Mija, stop. Before it's too late. Too late for what? Reconciliation on your terms. Maya's voice broke. You knew about Claire. Helped bury it. Elena's eyes welled. I was young. Protecting her. Like I'm protecting you. From happiness? Elodie said softly. That's not protection. That's cage building. Elena recoiled as if struck, fleeing to Javier's side. Outside, the sun-blinded heat waves shimmering off cobblestones. Maya and Elodie walked in silence to their rental car. The sea salt tang a faint comfort. That went better than expected, Elodie said finally, sliding into the passenger seat. Carmen landed punches. Maya gripped the wheel, knuckles white. But the injunction. We can't even access the villa till it's lifted. Elodie's hand covered hers. Then we improvise. Remember Sophia? She's house-sitting. We go back, dig deeper. The drive wound through hillsides ablaze with wild poppies. Radio crooning Joaquin Sabina ballads of lost loves. Maya felt the weight of it all. The will's promise, family's siege. Rose's ghost urging her forward. By dusk they reached the villa. Sophia greeting them with hugs and leftover gazpacho. Lucia's been calling, she said, locking the gate. Ranting about honoring tradition. But I found something else in the attic. A journal. Hidden in the chest's false bottom. Upstairs by lantern light, they pored over the leather-bound volume. Pages brittle as autumn leaves. Rose's entries span decades. Recipes interspersed with raw confessions. Claire's laugh haunts the wind chimes. I dream of her brushstrokes on my skin. Later. The pain is a teacher. Taught me to love from afar, but oh the cost. A final entry dated months ago. Maya comes tomorrow. She carries my fire but dims it for them. The will is my amends. Let her burn bright. Let the house hold her loves as it held mine. Sobs racked Maya. Elodie holding her through it. She wanted this for you. Us. But midnight brought a knock, insistent, shadowed. Sophia peered out. Javier alone, face drawn. Let me in. Please. In the salon over brandy he paced. Lucia's unhinged. Pushing Elena to testify, claim Rosa ranted about ghosts in her last days. Maya's blood chilled. And you? Just watching. Javier sank into a chair, head in hands. I knew about Claire. Helped Rosa write the letters back in the day. Thought it'd stay buried. He met her eyes, weary. But seeing you too. It's like watching her youth reborn. Don't let them win. The admission cracked something in Maya, forgiveness tentative. Then help us. Testify. He nodded slow. For Rosa. As he left, Elodie pulled Maya close on the settee. One ally. It's a start. Their kiss deepened, born of exhaustion and defiance. A reaffirmation amid the fray. But as stars wheeled outside, Maya's phone buzzed. A text from Elena. Meet me at the cliffs. Dawn. Alone. Sleep evaded her. Dawn found her there, wind tearing at her scarf, waves gnashing below like hungry beasts. Elena arrived bundled in wool, face pale as the foam. I can't sleep, she said, voice whipping away. Can't eat. This. You're tearing us apart. No, Mom. Fear is. Maya stepped closer, the drop yawning behind her. Rosa loved Claire. You knew. Why hide it? Elena's tears caught the light. Because it hurt her. Society, family, they shunned whispers. I watched her wilt, pretending. Swore I'd spare you that. The confession hung. A bridge over the abyss. Maya reached out. But hiding hurts more. Elodie's my Claire. And she makes me whole. Elena hesitated. Then clasped her hand. I see it. In your eyes. Like roses. A sob escaped. Forgive me. The embrace was fierce, salt mingling with sea spray. But as they parted, Elena's voice hardened. Lucia's not stopping. She'll lie twist. Protect yourself. The warning echoed as Maya returned, heart lighter yet braced. Allies emerged, but the war raged. Back at the villa, Elodie waited with coffee and a map, outlining a year. Art classes in Malaga, olive presses in fall, winters painting by the hearth. We'll make it ours, Elodie said. Maya smiled, tracing her jaw. Ours. Yet that night a package arrived. Anonymous, postmarked Madrid. Inside. Burned fragments of letters, Claire's handwriting curling like smoke. A note. Bury the past. Or lose everything. The threat coiled, venomous. Betrayal's shadow lengthened. Climax building like thunderheads over the strait. Winter crept into the villa like an uninvited guest. Frosting the olive leaves and muting the sea's roar to a distant murmur. Weeks blurred since the cliffside truce with Elena. Tentative emails, a shared paella in the village that thawed silences but didn't melt the ice. The injunction held the villa in legal limbo, but Sophia's stewardship kept it alive. Fires crackling, gardens weeded, the attic's revelations transcribed into a digital archive Carmen wielded like a sword. Maya and Elodie had decamped to a rented casita in town, a whitewashed nook with bougainvillea draping the door. Mornings began with espresso on the tiny patio, evenings with Elodie's sketches. Vines twisting into lovers' knots, Maya's profile etched in charcoal. This is our intermission, Elodie said one night as rain pattered the tiles. The calm before the verdict. But calm was illusion. Ruiz's motions piled up. Depositions demanding Maya's lifestyle be probed. Lucia's affidavits painting Rosa as a troubled eccentric. Javier's testimony when it came was a bombshell, delivered via video from Miami, his voice steady. I witnessed the signing. Rosa was fierce, clear. She told me. Maya will carry the torch I dimmed. The courtroom, reconvened in December under drizzling skies, crackled with anticipation. Alvarez presided, her expression unreadable as evidence mounted. Carmen called Sophia, who recounted attic finds with artist's passion. These weren't delusions. They were blueprints for freedom. Then Elena. Summoned as a hostile witness, she took the stand in a navy dress, rosary tucked in her pocket like a talisman. Ruiz grilled her. You claim your mother-in-law exhibited paranoia? Talks of hidden women? Elena's gaze flicked to Maya, seated with Elodie. Paranoia? No. Courage. The chamber hushed. Rosa shared her story with me years ago. About Claire. I helped suppress it, out of fear. But seeing my daughter fight for her truth? It's awakening something in me. Gasps echoed. Lucia shot up. Objection irrelevant. But Alvarez waved her down, eyes gleaming. Ruiz pivoted, desperate. And your daughter's relationship? Does it mirror this? Instability. Elena's chin lifted. It mirrors love. Pure, enduring. Like roses. The gavel adjourned for recess, the room erupting. Maya met her mother's eyes across the aisle. Not forgiveness but understanding, a bridge half-built. Elodie whispered. You did this. You all did. The final day dawned crisp. Strait of Gibraltar winds carrying whispers of Gibraltar's rock. Alvarez delivered her ruling in measured tones. The will stands. Medicals show lucidity. Testimonies affirm intent. The bequest is valid. Residency provision enforceable. Cheers from Carmen's side, stunned silence from the other. Lucia stormed out, Javier trailing with apologies. Elena approached Maya in the hall, embrace fierce. I'm proud. Finally. But victory soured at dusk. Returning to the casita, they found it ransacked, drawers yanked, sketches shredded. A single letter fragment on the table. End it or the groves burn. Lucia's hand, no doubt, desperation's lash. Maya's rage boiled. She won't stop. Elodie surveyed the wreckage, calm amid chaos. Then we end it. Confront her. They drove to the villa under moonlit vines, the gate ajar, Sophia away for Christmas. Inside, shadows pooled, but a light burned in the salon. Lucia sat by the fire, sherry glass trembling, a petrol can at her feet. "You," she spat as they entered. "Thieves of legacy." Maya's voice shook. "Legacy?" Rosa's was love, not control. Lucia laughed, brittle. "Love? It ruined her. Claire died alone, abandoned. Rosa pined, childless, pitted." Elodie stepped forward. She wasn't pitted. She was revered. And she chose Maya to heal that wound. The can's lid clicked open, fumes acrid. "This house dies with her secrets." Panic surged. Maya lunged, wrestling the can away as Elodie dialed authorities. Lucia crumpled, sobs racking her frail frame. "I was her keeper. Burned the letters to protect. But you flaunt it." Elena burst in then, alerted by Javier, who'd tailed them. She knelt by her sister, arms enveloping. "Lucia, enough. We all carried the weight. Time to lay it down." Sirens wailed distant, but the fight ebbed. Lucia's confession spilled. Decades of guardianship twisted into guardianship. Burning mementos, silencing whispers, all to preserve the family. Elena's complicity, born of loyalty, now renounced. As gendarmes arrived, Lucia was led away gently, charges pending, but whispers of counseling. The villa stood unscathed, a sentinel. Spring unfurled in verdant glory, the injunction lifted. Maya and Elodie moved in, the year unfolding like a long exhale. Olives ripened under their hands, the press yielding golden oil they bottled with Rosa's label, Verdad's Harvest. Sophia visited, turning the East Wing into a studio for women's retreats. Writers, artists, souls seeking shelter. Elena's visits became weekly. Shared meals, tentative stories of her own youth. A crush on a neighbor girl buried like seeds. "I see Rosa in you both," she said one evening as fireflies danced. "And Claire. Full circle." Javier sent checks. Not bribes but amends, funding scholarships in Claire's name. Tomas came too, eventually, his gruff hugs speaking volumes. Climax had crested in confrontation. Betrayal bared like roots. Now romance bloomed quiet. Elodie's canvases on villa walls, Maya's poetry in bedside drawers. One August night under a canopy of stars, they danced on the courtyard tiles, slow swaying, to a record of Rose's favorites. "You saved me," Maya whispered, cheek to Elodie's. "No. We saved each other. And her." The will's shock had rippled outward, reshaping shores. Humanistic in its ache. Love not as conquest but communion. The villa endured, refuge for the fierce-hearted, echoing with laughter long denied. In the attic, letters preserved in glass cases, a testament. Truth, once freed, illuminates.